right, so a few years ago this happened. I parked down closer to the road crossing, and I wanted to come up here. And since my car was on the right side, like where I'm walking now, I was on this track here. So what I was doing, yeah, looking for evidence or whatever, but a lot of times I'm not even looking for cryptids. I'm just talking about an encounter, or I love going over the historical ones. And you can see some old train equipment there. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's farm equipment that someone dumped. There's an old quad trail in there, so it's probably a hunting camp in there. But I was hiking on this track here, doing a reenactment of Jacko. And where I am, there's no tunnels, like, you know, natural form tunnels of going through the rock of the mountainside or anything. So I was coming up to here where it was a little bit more enclosed in. So I was talking away about, you know, how Jacko and the train engineer and everybody, they found him, they spotted him unconscious on the tracks, and they chased him, caught him and stuff. But right in here somewhere, it's been cut back, you see. It's been cut back. It used to be closer to the track. But right in on my right, more than one dogman came right up to the edge of the tree line. And I can see it more. I can see the one obviously in front, but there's one behind. Looks like there's one even sticking its tongue out at me. But so anyway, you know, they're casting out the dread pretty good. So I crossed to the higher track here. I did pan that way, and that's how I got the picture, but it's like the video pan is like 2 seconds long because I was kind of creeped out by their aggressiveness. So I crossed over here, and they started to follow me along there. So what I think probably the game plan was wait until I get further up here, away from the quad trail and maybe anyone that could come help me. Because there was cryptids or Sasquatch, normal Sasquatch on this side, little guys. But you know, they're all doing their hiding behind trees and stuff. But you can see them, unnatural shapes, you know, furry shoulders sticking out behind a tree and all that. So I'm hiking up here, trying to get the video done, trying to ignore them. It's not the first time I've been interrupted by Sasquatch trying to do a classical retelling of the story of you know, one of the great Sasquatch classics. But anyway, they're paralleling me here. Sorry, they're paralleling me here, and I was getting pretty creeped out because now it's dark. There's a game trail. Now it's dark. The trees are closing in. You can see how the trees get closing in, but they've been around here and they cut them all back. And then right before I got to the clearing there, I could hear a train coming. And these guys were over there, and the trees from this side was casting all the shade. So it's kind of like an early dusk situation because the sun was behind the trees and stuff. And I think that's what their plan. If they were going to do anything, there's some arch trees in there. Could be natural. I don't worry about that too much unless they're trying to block you out of a trail. I wouldn't even make a video about stuff like that. Some people do. I don't. So yeah, a big freight train coming down the track around that corner up there. I got Dogmen right here on my right. And so I used the train and obviously human activity of the human train, driven train, which probably kept them in their place. And then while the train was coming that way, like I could have easily just stepped off or whatever. But under the circumstances, if I didn't take the advantage of the train coming. And I don't know if I would have made it back to the car. The train tracks go way back there. The crossing, but a click back, I guess. But it's, late in the day, plus the sun's blocked out by the trees. And these guys are right in the tree line. So what I did was I started running, I'm not going to run, but I started running to get back past into the open of the trees. But in thinking in hindsight, that train saved my ass. These guys were very aggressive. There's nobody living this way. It's remote. There's a marsh area there. Who knows, maybe they would have waited till I got up to the corner. But still, this is far enough in for, they could throw a boulder at me and take me out and not even worry about having to attack me or anything. But you can see some old railway, I guess that they use to keep the ties down or something right there. But yeah, they were right on this side here. And I couldn't jog because it was on tracks and stuff like that, but I'm in good shape, but not for jogging. I can't do that to my knees. But anyway, the dread, they pushed me over from that side to this side. And then it didn't really get any better until that train started. You could hear the horn and you can hear a freight train in the distance. And I made it back to the clearing back that way, half a click before the trees let up. And they probably followed me all the way on that side. And yeah, I think that train saved my bacon. Because I've run into them before. The Dogmen are always aggressive. The ones with the snouts are always aggressive. Sasquatch can be aggressive too, but for the most part, aggressive, curious, right? And these things were showing their teeth at me. Their canines and stuff. They had snouts and that. And speaking of that, last month, Lisa and I were out investigating, doing a documentary of the Beast of Seven Chutes and Parc de Sept Chutes, Seven Chutes, Quebec. And we found something significant. I'm holding on to it, and we've lost another PhD, Meldrum. We lost Bindenago, even lost Dr. Jane Goodall. Not many people you can go to verify stuff. But I know what it is, what we came across. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to try to get some verification, but anyway, pretty interesting stuff. The Dogmen are all over, just like Sasquatch. And they do the same tricks where they feed off our fear. Sasquatch like to scare you and feed off your fear, just like the Dogmen do, or Dogmen are a little bit more aggressive at doing it. So yeah, paralleled by Dogmen along tracks. Freight train coming around the corner, and I'm kind of waiting to maybe get a video of a freight train here. Freight train coming around the corner, and I used the train to escape from a scary situation. I don't normally get scared around them, especially when I got some clearing like this. This has been cut back. But these guys are like in daylight, but in the shadows of from the sun behind those trees or whatever, right at the tree line. So I guess they were pissed off that I found their little haven in here. And I guess I'm lucky also that I got out of it, but that they didn't come all the way back to my house and start harassing me, because they can mark you somehow, I don't know, they can find you later on. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So after this encounter, I just started going that way. And that's when I ran into just regular cryptid Sasquatch and stuff like that. I got a picture of like a 6-foot young male or whatever, 6-7 foot, and then a really big female. with the young male. So, and I've noticed that a lot. The older females mating with the younger males, and so does that mean the big males are going after the young females? I don't know. But anyway, true story. Northeastern Ontario. Paralleled by Dogmen, and the train saved my butt. Alright, thanks for listening. Alright, so here's the one I pulled from my video when I panned. I was trying to do, as I said, trying to do a reenactment of Jacko, and then I stumbled into them again. That's happened before when I tried to do a reenactment of Ape Canyon. I had a real Sasquatch come up behind me and sniff me and then go running through the grass. In like split second, it was gone by the time I turned around. But anyway, with this guy here, he let's just take a closer look at him. You can see his eyes shine there from the shade. I can anyway. Of course, I got a better view than you guys. I can look at it on my laptop and zoom in and stuff. But it's got a snout, and the white part there, his upper snout, and then it's got like the black tip of his nose, just like a dog. And as I said, a Dogmen, Gugwe, or whatever this damn thing is. I can see the eyes shine, his arm and his general outline, but there's another one right behind him with a snout, and it's actually got a tongue sticking out at me on his right. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're definitely trying to creep me out with the dread, force me to cross paths or cross tracks. And then, as I said, when I was caught at the top end of the trees on both sides, and then the train was coming, so they heard the train too. So then I used the train as an opportunity to kind of run by them and get back to the open area closer to the road crossing. But these guys, they hang out with the typical Class 1A Sasquatch or the other ones. I think it was following me either to do something aggressive, or might even try to jump me if I went up a little bit more isolated around the bend up the tracks. But definitely at night, something probably would have happened. So at night, the night op in the intro there, I was out there. Yeah, I got the clip of the train going by. I was trying to use the lights from the train crossing lights to get some eye shine. But maybe next time. Thanks for watching.